Can somebody tell me what the hell is going on right now? No, seriously. What's going on right now? I feel like I kind of spoke this into existence, so to speak. About roughly 2 weeks ago, I sat in this chair and I said, "This draft isn't really doing it for me. It's almost draft time, but not really feeling this draft for real. Not really a lot of excitement, not a lot going on. Just kind of ho humish." 2 weeks later, oh my God, what the hell is going on? This is going to be the craziest draft ever. Welcome to 2023, man. We got a lot to discuss. Feels like I haven't talked to you in a month, and it's only been a couple of days. This is crazy. Aaron Rodgers has been traded since the last time we spoke. Will Levis is all of a sudden rumored to be going #1 overall. Is Derrick Henry going to the Philadelphia Eagles? The Louie T Network podcast starts now. Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to the 330th installment of the Louie T Network podcast. I, of course, am your set man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Man, oh man, do we have some shit to discuss. I hope your Tuesday afternoon has been delightful. Hope your week has been excellent thus far. Mine has been actually solid. It hasn't been great. I've been preparing for what is going to be a very busy week. Start talking some basketball. So nothing has gone the way that I thought it was going to go in the NBA playoffs to this point. Giannis came back, and yet the Bucks still lost. Interesting. They're down 3-1. Didn't see that coming. Jimmy Butler puts together a masterpiece of a performance, 56-point thriller to lead the Miami Heat to a victory over the #1 seeded Milwaukee Bucks in the East, who had the best record in all of the NBA, now have them on the brink of elimination. Going back to Milwaukee. That series is not over. Okay. Just like the series with the Memphis Grizzlies and the Los Angeles Lakers is not over. I'd be lying to you if I told you I thought I saw a scenario in which Memphis would be down 3-1. Never saw that. Never thought that we'd be going to game 5 with anything less than a 2-2 split. And if it was 3-1, it was 3-1 our way. Now, the injuries have been a thing this postseason, and it's really wrecked this postseason. Injuries have been massive. So we came into the playoffs with no Paul George. Then the Clippers steal game 1, are on the verge of stealing game 2 when Kawhi Leonard gets injured and hasn't played since game 2. Now the Suns are up 3-1 in a series that they easily could have lost if the Clippers just had a healthy Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, John Morant gets injured, the second to last game of the regular season, re-aggravates the injury in game 1, a game that I thought we were in position to win, and he gets hurt, and our closer is not there at the end of the game. The Lakers going a 15-0 run or whatever it was to end the game, and they end up winning, going away by 16. When he gets hurt, I think it was a 1-point deficit. Very winnable basketball game. We win game 2. I knew we were going to lose game 3. There was just too much going on, and we're not a great road team to begin with. And every time we go on the road for the first time in the playoffs, we usually get our asses handed to us. So that wasn't a surprise. 9 points in a quarter, I'd be lying if I told you I thought we were going to be that bad. The officials were horrible in that game. But that's notwithstanding. We didn't play well. The Lakers played far superior to us and deserved to win that game. I just was sure. I was certain we were going to win game 4. And I got to say that the Lakers made timely shots and we didn't. And this is all a part of being a young team. Like a lot of people forget, we talk a lot of shit. You know, our team collectively talks a lot of shit. And so people forget in their haste to want to, knock the Memphis Grizzlies off. We're the second youngest team in the NBA behind the OKC Thunder. We're young. This is a journey, and we're learning every single time we step on the court in the postseason, but it's painful when you're young and you're learning as you're going through the fire. And to miss a free throw late in the game, I talked about playoff basketball and how everything is amplified. To miss a free throw late that would have made it a 3-point game with 37 seconds to go, that hurts. In a game that ultimately goes to overtime, changes everything. To have to defend for 6.2 seconds and you allow LeBron to go to his right, he really can't go to his left. And you still somehow, the one guy on the court, if Austin Reeves or whomever's on the court has to beat me with a 3, so be it. It can't be LeBron going to his right. You should have been putting up a picket fence to the basket. If LeBron wants to pull up from 25 feet away, if LeBron wants to pull up from 16 feet away, if LeBron wants to drive and kick because he can't get all the way to the rim, so be it. But LeBron James cannot get all the way to the rim to his right hand. And a young team being undisciplined didn't do the simple thing. And I'm pretty sure our head coach, Taylor Jenkins, made it abundantly clear because Desmond Bane after the game said we didn't follow our defensive principles. We knew LeBron wanted to get to his right, and we had 2 guys over there, and we didn't stop him. That's frustrating. Once you got to overtime, all bets were off because the Lakers should have never been there to begin with. All game long, D'Angelo Russell has been ass, and then he hits 3 threes out of nowhere when we're up 7. Don't ask me where that came from, but it just came out of nowhere. Neither team could hit the backside of the barn from 3-point land, and then all of a sudden, D'Angelo Russell decides he wants to hit 3 threes. That's the kind of shit that's just been happening in this series. It's either Rui Hachimura or it's Austin Reeves or D'Angelo Russell out of nowhere. What can you do? You're already down a couple of bigs on the bench, and that's killing us on the boards. I didn't think it would hurt us in this particular series. We've actually done a solid job, but at the wrong time, we're giving up offensive rebounds that would not happen if Steven Adams and or Brandon Clark were available. And where you're seeing the biggest deficiency for us is when we go to our bench and we need a bucket. There's no Brandon Clark where you can just give it to him and he just hits a free throw line floater. Or you can run a pick and roll and throw an alley-oop and get an easy bucket. Or Brandon Clark's just doing the hustle thing where he out-hustles somebody to a rebound and gets you an easy bucket. We're missing that. We don't have that when we go to our bench now. And the Lakers are exposing that. And I thought we could circumvent that. With all that said, I still think we're going to win the series. I know that sounds crazy because we're down 3-1. We're facing elimination, just like the Milwaukee Bucks are facing elimination. Still think we're going to win the series. They got to come back to Memphis. They're not beating us on our home court. I can assure you of that. As long as we stay healthy the way we are right now, we don't incur any more injuries. Anything happens to anybody that's playing meaningful minutes, and I can't guarantee you anything. But if we're healthy as is right now with the players that we're putting on the court, and we get contributions from guys like David Roddy like we did last night, and we still have to get something from Luke Kennard. We're not doing a good enough job. I got to give the Lakers credit. They are defending the hell out of Luke Kennard. They are not giving him any airspace. We have to do a better job of drawing up plays to get him the basketball in space so he can shoot. That said, we're not losing in Memphis. So the Lakers are going to have to beat us in game 6 at home. And we've proven, even though we haven't beaten them yet, we've proven that if we just don't have a shit of a quarter, then we can go there and win. We outplayed them for 3 quarters in game 3, but you can't score 9 points in the first quarter and be damn near down 30 and expect to win the game. The other 3 quarters combined, we were a plus 11. Just can't be down 30 after the first quarter, essentially. And then we had every opportunity to win game 4. And like a young team, we just couldn't close the show. I like our chances to go home, just like we did last year against Golden State. Game 4, go home, force a game 5, or just like we did against Golden State last year, force a game 6, go home, take care of business in game 5. Crowd will be raucous. We'll blitz the Lakers. We'll get on them early, and we'll just have to hold the hell on. And then go back to LA and find a way to steal one. If we get it back to Memphis in game 7, we got them. That's a long ways away, though. Got to win game 5 first. Same thing with the Bucks. Go home, get some momentum, win game 5. I expect them to do that against the Heat. Go back to Miami and find a way to steal that game, get it back to Milwaukee for game 7 and find a way to advance. This is not the way that they drew it up. If you're the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis getting hurt. I talked about injuries impacting series. Giannis's injury has impacted that series more than any injury has impacted any series, maybe outside of Kawhi Leonard. De'Aaron Fox has broken his hand. He may not play in game 5. Like, injuries could not be a bigger factor this year. The Sixers caught a break that they swept the Nets, which is not a surprise. The Nets kind of limped into the postseason, but Joel Embiid has got a knee injury, and they're saying, whatever happens in the second round, he's going to be compromised, probably going to have to wear a knee brace. Injuries are impacting this postseason. The teams that are the healthiest right now have the best chance to advance. Suns are healthy right now, pretty much. They're missing one guy on the bench, all right, in campaign, but he's a minimal contributor. Their starters are ultimately what's going to either carry them to a championship or not get it done. The Lakers are healthy, the healthiest they've been all season. And Miami, they lost Tyler Hero. So they're saying, look, you lost Giannis, we lost Hero. We got a guy out as well. The Nuggets are healthy. They're on the verge of putting away the Timberwolves, who won a game. Good for them. Good for the Atlanta Hawks for not getting swept, but their series is done now. DeJounte Murray is out running into a referee. That series is done. But the Celtics are healthy. The healthy teams will be the ones that will have a shot. And right now, the teams that are compromised are fighting for their lives. So we'll see if teams can overcome injuries. I already came in 2 men down, and then John Morant gets hurt, and now I'm just fighting. All we can do now is fight. But the Lakers are game. And the thing about the Lakers, they've played enough playoff basketball. They've played enough playoff basketball, and they're making winning plays. And this is a process. This is the part of being a fan of a young team that is so hard, because you see it, you know what it is, and there's no way around it. You got to go through it. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to the first segment of the show. I gotta start this show off with a gem dropping session. Oh my God. Let me drop this gem on your melon. Open your mind, let your conscience be free. You're now rolling with your man, Louie T double E. Let me open you up. Get you thinking a little bit. Oh my God. It's got to be lion season, okay? It's got to be lion season. Believe half of what you see, none of what you hear, even if it's spat by me, your man Louie T. So I woke up this morning not feeling dangerous. I'm not Baker Mayfield. But I did wake up this morning thinking about a few things. Some draft trades that could potentially happen. What are the Texans going to do at number 2? Do the Titans come up at number 3? Maybe the Raiders come up in number 3. Raiders aren't taking a quarterback all of a sudden at 7. They're taking a corner, right? So many things have come out as we get closer and closer and closer to the draft. And I get more and more weary. I get more and more anxious, but I also get more and more nosy, I think is the word now, where I want to know where you're getting your sources from. When Peter King speaks, a lot of people listen. I half listen to Peter King because, one, I can't really stand Peter King, right? But one thing about Peter King, he's locked in. Man is as plugged in the NFL circuits as one can be without actually picking up a football. Okay. Andy Reid wins the Super Bowl, and 20 minutes later, he's locked away in some dungeon under the stadium doing a one-on-one with Peter King. Nobody else is getting that type of access. Okay. You just won a Super Bowl. You should be celebrating with your team, and you're one-on-one with Peter King for 10 minutes. Hey, look, man, Peter King, you don't have to love him, but the man has access, okay? So when Peter King speaks, shit happens. Numbers start to move, needles start to move, odds start to move. And Peter King said a lot of things yesterday. Not one of those things involved the Panthers at one. Peter King said he didn't expect the Texans to take a quarterback. Peter King said that he didn't expect the Raiders to take a quarterback. Peter King said a number of things. So today when I woke up, I said, I wonder what's going to come out about the draft today. And then I wake up to Will Levis telling family, friends, and loved ones, hey, I'm going number one. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. It's lion season. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. I tell you guys this all the time. Be careful. Don't ignore anything. Take it all in. Put it through your bullshit meter. Boop, boop, beep, boop, 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 boop. And then spit it out. Keep the things you need. Get rid of the things you don't. I don't believe Will Levis is going number one overall. I don't think the Carolina Panthers are that dumb. They can't be that stupid. You didn't trade from 9 to number one to take a guy that hasn't shown you in any season of his career in college football that he can be the best quarterback in football. Because if I'm taking a guy at number one, I'm not only taking a guy that projects, which is what you're doing with a guy like Will Levis. You're projecting, which is what you're doing with a guy like Anthony Richardson. You're projecting. Nothing wrong with that. You want physical gifts. You want a guy that passes the eye test. I get all of that stuff. But when you're you can take a guy at 7 that does that stuff. That's how Josh Allen got into the top 10. I believe Josh Allen was, one of the best quarterbacks in that year's draft class. But you also, and this is Will Levis's claim to fame, is that, hey, I'm the next Josh Allen. That's what everybody thinks. That's what people are being enticed by. The physical gifts. I'm going to just say this. The last quarterback I saw jacked up like Will Levis was a guy by the name of Brady Quinn. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he played football at the University of Notre Dame. Ended up getting drafted in the first round by the Cleveland Browns. Barely could touch the back of his head because his arms were so big, and he was a workout warrior. Chiseled, cut, physically built, could barely throw the football. Now, Brady Quinn had deficiencies far beyond, his inability to be flexible. But that's nor here nor there. First of all, I don't want my quarterback being jacked because I feel like there's certain positions or certain movements and people that play certain positions that just shouldn't be jacked. I don't want my 3-point shooter being jacked. That's why it boggles my mind that Desmond Bane is such a prolific three-point shooter, because generally you need players with extreme flexibility that can shoot, because you need guys that are just, kind of rubbery. Kevin Durant, Reggie Miller, those guys never saw the weight room, right? Like Ray Allen, wasn't a shrimp, but Ray Allen wasn't out here cut. You've got to have a level of flexibility that allows you to cock and shoot quickly. It's hard to do that when you're muscle bound. Like Desmond Bane's whole shooting motion, nothing about it is quick because he's so damn muscular. I don't want my quarterback. Look at the quarterbacks that have been highly successful in the NFL. I'm not telling you that they're not in the weight room, all right? But I'm also telling you these guys aren't jacked. Will Levis is shredded, okay? I worry about that, but that's nor here nor there. When you take a guy number 1 overall, there definitely needs to be upside, but I also need to have tangible evidence that he can do this. Meaning he's done it at least 1 year. At least 1 year. And you'll have the people that make excuses. Oh, he was injured last year and he gutted it out. He was awful last year. You'll have people who say, well, he played in the SEC. That means something. Played hurt, played in the toughest conference. There's a lot to love about Will Levis. Oh, yeah? Humor me, please. Because he's got 2 traits that I see that absolutely do not work at his particular position in this league when combined and put together. You can be inaccurate as a quarterback. And a lot of people say that inaccuracy is something that makes you inoperable as a quarterback. You can't fix that. Well, Josh Allen has kind of debunked that theory, right? He's gotten more accurate as a passer. I always felt like a lot of Josh Allen's inaccuracy was due to the lack of talent around him. But that's nor here nor there, because I saw Josh Allen be accurate when he had NFL talent. Guys like Jacob Hollister, who made it to the NFL, and Brian Hill, who made it to the NFL, and guys like that who made it to the league with him, but left him a year early. He proved on a college scale, and again, it was Wyoming, so he's doing it in the WAC, but he proved on a collegiate scale, I can get it done. Will Levis wasn't great at Penn State, lost his job and wasn't going to get it, so he transferred to Kentucky, and then all he did there was have modest seasons, both years. Neither one of them eye-opening, solid performances. But what I saw in particular watching Will Levis was 2 things that you cannot be as a quarterback. One is inaccurate, and the other, and this is what makes Will Levis, for me, a no-go, which is why my guy JP had asked me maybe like 2 weeks ago, do you not like Will Levis? No, I don't like Will Levis as a quarterback prospect, because he's inaccurate and he processes too damn slow. You know what happens when you put those 2 together? You lead the league in interceptions. Because an inaccurate quarterback that processes quickly, probably going to have some incomplete passes. All right. Maybe his receiver may bail him out. May not be any run after the catch, but it's still complete. But you add in the element of being late and inaccurate, that's a pick 6. That's a guy that's beaten but is allowed back into the play and almost picking the ball off, because now not only are you late to the party, but the ball is thrown in a place where that corner, that defensive back, that linebacker can recover and make a play on it. And I saw that time after time after time with Will Levis. Go watch the Mississippi State game from this season. These are bad interceptions. Don't talk to me about him being hurt. His brain didn't hurt last time I checked. Your brain is what allows you to process in a timely manner. Go through your reads. Not open, not open. He's open. Give him the football. I said all of that to say this. There is no way in hell the Carolina Panthers traded all the way up from 9 to number 1 to take a guy that I still believes needs work. We've always said this about guys that go top 5 in a draft, really in the first round of a draft, but specifically top 5. You draft a quarterback in the top 5 of the NFL draft, and that guy has to step on the field immediately. You could get a first-round quarterback and have him not be ready to play. We've seen that before. Justin Fields didn't start his first NFL game. Deshaun Watson didn't start his first NFL game. You know, Patrick Mahomes didn't start for a whole season almost. Didn't start till the final week of his rookie season. Like, none of those guys went in the top 5, though, right? Like, you can have a quarterback go in the first round and not be ready to go right out of the gates. Part of the frustrating part with the 49ers trading up for Trey Lance was you drafted him 3rd overall. You traded up to get him, and the guy has barely seen the field. That's problematic. This is why they're trying to move him now, because they're trying to cut their losses. They're trying to recoup something. They gave up a lot to get Trey Lance, and the 7th round guy, Mr. Irrelevant, is better than you already? Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and try to see what we can get for you now. Cut your losses while you still can. Zach Wilson, that ship sailed, right? But at least they found out early. You look at the situation that the Panthers have put themselves in. They have put themselves in a position in a bad division, no less, to win right away if they take the right quarterback at 1. This is why you lift all those weights, right? Or as a wise man said, this is why you lift all them weights. This is why you traded all the way up to number 1. So you didn't have to worry about what anybody else was doing. You don't have to make shit up. You don't have to try to convince another team in front of you that this is the guy you want when it's really the other guy that you want. You don't have to do any of that. You afforded yourself the opportunity to say, whomever we deem the best at the quarterback position, we get to take him. We have the first pick in the draft. You did not give up your best wide receiver and another first-round pick next year. You did not give these things up to come up and take a guy that you think might be good enough to have a solid season. You came up here to get a guy that won the Heisman Trophy 2 years ago and has shown you with lesser talent he can get the job done. I'm just going to assume that the Carolina Panthers are Spike Lee and they do the right thing. That's what I'm going to assume. Not going to listen to all of the scuttlebutt that's going around. It's lion season. Y'all know what it is. But you know what would be funny is if this morning Will Levis woke up and said, I bet y'all I can shift the odds in Vegas. Watch this. And he told some people, yo, put some money down on me going number 1 overall. The Panthers told me they drafted me number 1. And then people start rushing to the windows, putting money down, getting these bets on these sites, large amounts of money. And now all of a sudden, what is this? Where's all this coming from? Where's all this Will Levis money coming from? Y'all know something? I mean, that's how odds work, right? Numbers shift because of the amount of money being put down. So when Vegas is sure, they don't move a damn thing. They try to entice you. But when nobody's sure right now, Vegas isn't even sure. So when money starts coming in large quantities for one guy, Vegas is like, wait a minute. Wait. Do y'all know something? Do y'all know something? Do we need to move this line? Nah, don't move a damn thing. Will Levis's ass ain't going number 1. I'd be shocked. I'm just tell you right now, I need to be drunk before the first pick goes down because I'm not even a Panthers fan. And if they take Will Levis, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm going to lose my shit for the Panthers fans. So I probably need to be about 3 or 4 glasses in before the pick gets made. When we do our pregame at 7:30, normally, when you're going out and you pregame, that means you're getting lit before you leave. I might need to actually pregame with y'all. I mean, because the plan was to just sip slow, right? Just a couple sips here, a couple sips there. I might need to take a couple glasses to the head before the number 1 pick is announced, just in case it's Will Levis. I really don't know what is going to happen, which makes this one of the most volatile NFL drafts in recent memory. And I think you have me to thank for that, because I told y'all 2 weeks ago that this was a ho-hum draft and that I wasn't really feeling it. And the league said, "Oh, really? This is a ho-hum draft, you say? You're not feeling this? Okay, we got something for your ass." You think you know who the Texans are taking it to? You have no idea. You say Arizona's trading out of 3? Let's see. Raiders want a quarterback at 7? They say they don't? Okay. Nobody is even paying attention to the Falcons. The Falcons are like, "Hey, don't pay attention to me. I ain't even trying to do nothing. Like, y'all just keep me out of y'all mouth. I'm going to stay out the way. But if y'all don't mind, if one of these quarterbacks, CJ Stroud, wants to fall, hey, what can I say?" So the Falcons are like, "Yo, I don't really know what's going on in front of me. But if y'all really do want to trip, please be my guest. I'd love to see it happen." Indy is at 4, and they're all over the place. They were the first team to try to convince us Will Levis was the dude. And I'm like, why y'all lying for? No, seriously. Look at me. Look at me, man. Look at me. Indy, why you lying for? Stop. You don't want Will Levis. Stop. And if you ask me who's the guy that can fall in this draft, it's Will Levis. Man. So don't tell me that you want Will Levis, because I guarantee you if CJ Stroud and Will Levis and Anthony Richardson are all on the board at 4, you taking CJ Stroud or you taking Anthony Richardson. Don't play with me, boy. Stop. But we're going to see, man. We're going to see, because this shit has a chance. And you've seen my mock draft. I think Hendon Hooker's going in the top 10. But if Will Levis falls, if Anthony Richardson falls, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm gonna drop this gem on your melon right now. Anthony Richardson doesn't get past 5. I've known this for a long time, but I didn't expect him to get to 5. Seattle's not passing on Anthony Richardson at 5. Just telling you that when they were when Geno Smith spoke at his presser and he said, I'll mentor anybody, he was talking about Anthony Richardson. Plan B for them is Hendon Hooker. They'll never sniff Hendon Hooker at 20. That's their second pick, right? Yeah, they'll never sniff him at 20. I know that sounds crazy right now. They'll never get a sniff at him. Somebody will take Hendon Hooker long before 20. That sounds crazy to me, because when this process started, Hendon Hooker wasn't even a first-round pick. 3 weeks ago, Hendon Hooker wasn't even a first-round pick. And now all of a sudden he's top 15. Man, this draft is crazy. It's bonkers. I'm here for all of this shit, though. I'm here for all of the shits. All of it. Sign me up. This is going to be a crazy draft. Draft party, Thursday night, 8 p. You want to be there for the pregame, 7:30. It's going down. It's going to be crazy. Hope you can join me here on the Louie T Network. It's going to be wild. Saddle up, because this has a chance to be one of the most exciting, hair-raising, crazy, bonkers NFL drafts we've ever seen in recent memory. We've seen some crazy ones, but I can't tell you the last time I didn't know what was going to happen at 1. Maybe it was 5, 6, 7 years ago. You can go back in the archives. You'd be like, well, Louis T, actually, you were confused in 2017. I can't tell you the last time I've been this confused. Probably 2018. Because I don't think any of us saw Baker Mayfield going 1 that year. Even though I told you his tape was the cleanest, that didn't mean that I thought he would go first. But I wasn't even live. I remember I got there late in 2018. By the time the pick was made, I didn't even get a chance to really truly react the way that I would have had I been live already, because I was running late. Most of the time, we know who's going number 1. 19, we knew it was Kyler Murray. 20, we knew it was Joe Burrow. 21, we knew it was Trevor Lawrence. 22, we knew it was going to be Trayvon Walker. We knew these things. So it had to be 18 the last time I was not sure. And even then, there was a chance it was Baker. I don't know who's going number 1. My assumption, and probably more like 18, it's probably going to be Bryce Young. I still wouldn't count CJ Stroud out. It ain't Will Levis. The Panthers cannot be that stupid. I refuse to believe Scott Fitterer sat down with head coach Frank Reich, went over copious. I'm pretty sure they watched every single collegiate game of all of these quarterbacks. They've watched every single one of those games, every single throw, every single decision that these boys have made. There's no way that after doing that, watching the 2 years of Will Levis as a starter at Kentucky, watching the 2 years and some change of CJ Stroud as the starter of the Ohio State Buckeyes, right? Watching 3 years essentially of Bryce Young being a starter, 2 and some change. And watching the 1 real season, but maybe a year and a half or so of Anthony Richardson starting. There's no way they watched all that and came away and said, Will Levis is the best of the group. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. I digress. It's lion season, man. I leave you with that. It's lion season, man. Have you ever seen lion season running so rampant before? I can't say that I have. Speaking of which, this is a perfect segue. The social media maneuvers. I'm a midday marauder. Y'all know what it is. If y'all out there and y'all want to have your comment read, use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read on the air. If it is pertinent, we will get to it at some point if time permits. But if you want to ensure that your comment gets read, super chatting is the way to get that done. Jump you straight to the front of the line and ensure that we react to your comments. So I want to start this thing off with Aaron Rodgers being traded to the Jets. The Packers GM, Brian Gutekunst, had said adamantly, I want this thing resolved and done prior to the draft. And I said, hey, I hear you, man. I hear you, bro. Yeah, that's cool, man. I don't think it's going to get done before the draft, but you go right ahead and you try, man. I like your spirit. But I've said this, deadline spur action, and he put a deadline in front of the Jets. And I was like, hey, Jets, don't you bitch up. They don't run shit. Yeah, they got Aaron Rodgers, but they can't get rid of Aaron Rodgers to nobody but you. Don't you let them fool you into thinking that somebody else might come in after the draft or, as the draft is commencing and swoop in and make a deal for him. You know, he's coming to the New York Jets. The man has a no trade clause. He's already made up in his mind he's coming to the Jets. You got this shit on lock, man. Don't let them hold you. All right. And Jet said, I got this, bro. I got it. Don't worry. And I said, all right, I believe you. I believe you got this, man. It's a game of chicken. Don't you blink. Don't you blink. And then I looked at my phone yesterday and I saw the trade went down and I'm like, oh, so Gutekunst got it done. Okay, good for you, man. Let's see what you got. Better not get anything more than a second round pick. First thing I see, first round swap. I said, okay, that's 2 spots. I ain't tripping about that, man. Jets go from, 13 to 15. Packers go from 15 to 13. That sounds good to me. Little swap of the picks in the first round, 2 spots. All right. Then I saw a second rounder this year. I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Second round pick. That sounds about right. I said, that's where the trade should stop, right? It's like, nah. If Washington can get 2 2s or a 2 and a 3 for Carson Wentz, and the Jets can get 2 2s for Sam Darnold, we should be able to get a 2 and a 1 for Aaron Rodgers, right? And I'm like, yeah, about that. I wasn't trying to give up a first round pick. So if you could somehow make it a 2 and we call it Evon Stevon, you got a deal. I thought that's where the Jets were at with theirs. Like, this is why you playing hardball, so that you don't have to come up off a 1. I thought we were here. Clearly we were not. Because Aaron Rodgers is playing 65% of the snaps next year. What happened to 70 anyway? Remember, the number was always 70. What happened to that? The Packers even finagled an extra 5% in their favor. How, New York? How? I thought you had the power. I looked at you right in your eyes. After you threw Jimmy Garoppolo and you threw Derek Carr off the roof, I looked you dead in your eyes and I said, hey, Jets, you got the juice now. And you was like, nah, I don't even want it. How you let these boys finagle you, finesse you? I mean, with the kiss. How you let them finesse you for a first round pick? Look, I was talking to my homeboy yesterday, and he was like, yo, the Jets got worked. And I'm like, I don't think they got worked, but I do think they got finessed. They got them tripping in finesse. It don't make no sense. I did feel like they got just a little bit of finesse, though. Like, it should have been a 3 that can move to a 2, and it should have been 2 2s. Aaron Rodgers is not a young man. And here's the argument that I made to my buddy. He did win 2 consecutive MVPs just 3 years ago. Won the MVP 2 years ago, won the MVP. Didn't win it last year because he was hurt. I still think there's good football. But I also admit that Aaron Rodgers contemplated retirement this offseason. He had to go to a retreat to make a decision, and he's almost 40. He's almost 40. The reason why Washington gives up a 2 and almost another 2 is because Carson Wentz could have been their franchise quarterback had he worked out. He wasn't even 30. The reason why the Jets get 2 2s in the Sam Darnold deal is because Sam Darnold, if he worked out, could have been their quarterback. He's not even 30 yet. Aaron Rodgers is almost 40. It makes me ask the question, New York. Wise man once asked me this question. Who raised you? Who raised you? I know you want to win bad. I know you want Aaron Rodgers bad. But you had the juice and the squeeze. And you let him get you for a 1? Don't tell me it's not a 1 yet. The only way it doesn't become a 1 is if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, and either way, you're screwed. It's a 1. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, he's playing. If you win and you win big, it's all worth it. But if you don't, you got finessed. One more thing before we move on. I know y'all saw this shit. I know I'm not tripping, right? Lion season alert. I must say this, okay? For those of you who have seen this, no worries. For those of you who have not seen this, viewer discretion is advised. It's lion season, okay? Akbar Baja Biamila, the brother of Packers pass rusher Kabir Baja Biamila, who did play in the league. Akbar did play in the league. He used to work for the NFL Network. He's now about to be one of the co-hosts of The View. Good for him. He sent this tweet out over the weekend. I stumbled on this, then somebody sent it to me again, and I saw it again, and then somebody else sent it to me, and I saw it again, and I'm like, yeah, I'm aware. I saw this shit. I don't like it. Breaking, move out the way. Derrick Henry is headed to the Eagles. I didn't know how to feel about this. Because one, I'm like, I don't trust you. Who are you? No, seriously, who are you? Like, you don't even really do football anymore. You've transitioned into the world of entertainment. I don't even know if you even locked in like that anymore. Who are you right now? You got to go Denzel on them. Who are you? You just playing with us right now? You think this is funny? You think this is a game? Then I said, what if he's not bullshitting? We are talking about the damn Eagles and Howie Roseman's dirty ass. He'll do some shit like this. He pulled a deal with the Titans last draft that changed the trajectory of the Eagles. Hey, listen to this shit. I read this over the weekend as well after seeing this shit that almost made me vomit. Do you know that the Eagles were trying to acquire wide receiver? What is his damn name? Matter of fact, he just got traded to the Steelers. Allen Robinson. They were going after Allen Robinson last year with the Eagles. That deal fell through, and they turned, and Howie Roseman pivoted and went to the Titans and got A.J. Brown. I'm like, what the man? How that deal fall through? Because Allen Robinson does not make the Eagles Super Bowl contenders. He's not A.J. Brown. How did that deal fall through? And how did he turn and pivot to A.J. Brown? That should have been the primary target. I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know, but that's how they got A.J. Brown. And I was like, what? The deception. The deception. Oh, the deception. And now this could potentially be happening on draft night. I'm nervous. I'm not going to lie to you, because I think this could be a thing. They got a new GM. Anything could happen. Anything. And I do mean anything. I think Chase Young is getting traded. Yep, I just said it. I just said it. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's happening. I think we're going to see some trades, man. Just seen Aaron Rodgers get traded. Derrick Henry could get traded. Trey Lance could get traded. Allen Robinson's already been traded. I think Chase Young's getting traded. We're going to talk more about that later on tonight. So make sure you join me, your man Louie T, for Washington Commanders Draft Overload, because we're going to talk about everything with my guy Rico tonight. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to y'all comments, man. Let's get to the comment section, see what y'all got to say. Video channel. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. We got video channel rights. Lou, as a Grizz fan, thoughts on Dylan Brooks? I love Dillon. I've always said that there's a place in the league for Dillon Brooks, and people are going to feel a way about Dillon Brooks. There aren't many guys in the league that want to do the dirty work. Dillon is willing to do the dirty work every single night. That's why PJ Tucker is still in the league. PJ Tucker is ass. But you know what PJ Tucker is willing to do that a lot of NBA players aren't? The dirty work. Take on the tough assignments. Go in there and rebound as a 6'4", 6'5", guard. Go in there and be physical. That's the shit PJ Tucker is willing to do. That's the shit that Dillon Brooks is willing to do. Most guys aren't. And also, Dillon isn't afraid. He's fearless. So, yeah, he'll take some shots that you don't want him taking, but he can make those shots. But more times than not, he's probably going to miss. And that's the part that can get a little frustrated. You're like, yo, you don't shoot. But he's wide open. And the culture that we've set in Memphis is that if you're open, shoot the damn ball. We don't care who you are. Shoot the ball. So I can't be mad when Dillon pulls the trigger. If they're going to give it to him, he's just got to knock this shit down, and he hasn't. I like Dillon Brooks. He's a part of the identity of Memphis. I don't know if he'll be back next year or not. I wouldn't be shocked if he wasn't. But who else is going to take on that challenge night in and night out of guarding the other team's best player? That's an art form. Okay? That is an art form that many have tried, few have mastered. Go check the numbers on Dillon Brooks. Averages come down when he plays against guys. And I thought on the final possession of the game, they should have put Dillon Brooks back on LeBron's ass. That's one of the mistakes I thought Taylor Jenkins made last night. In that moment, you should have put your best defender, on-ball defender, on LeBron James and say, all right, LeBron, even if LeBron gets fouled and goes to the free throw line, LeBron's bitch ass would have missed one. In that moment, he'd have missed the damn free throw. He ain't a great free throw shooter. Put Dillon Brooks on his ass. And I'm not sitting here telling you Xavier Tillman hadn't done a great job the entire night, because he did. But in that moment, I need one stop. Go put your best defender on LeBron James. And they failed to do that. And I was disappointed with that decision. John Perez, my guy JP, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, once again, nice to see you, Lou. Absolutely. Same here, JP. Is it possible the Lakers may have exposed the Grizzlies? LeBron was great in OT and Brooks should have stayed quiet. LOL. I don't think they've exposed anything. Our Achilles heels, I told you what they were before the playoffs started. Free throw shooting, which we actually have been really solid in this series, but Ja missed a big free throw late. And I told you 3-point shooting. I said, if Luke Kennard isn't shooting, we have a problem, because we only truly have two guys that can shoot the ball on this roster right now consistently. David Roddy was a 42% 3-point shooter at Colorado State, and he's showing that more now that he can shoot, but he's still a work in progress. All right, he's still gaining confidence. But outside of Luke Kennard and Desmond Bane, we really don't have guys that can shoot. And Tyus Jones, he's streaky, but he's been awful in this series. He can't hit the backside of a barn. I mean, some of them shots in game 3, he didn't even touch the rim on 1 or 2 of those shots. I don't know what he's seeing, what he's doing, but his shot is broken right now. And so but this is the beauty of us. We can actually shoot somewhat. You guys can't shoot at all. This is why it's frustrating, because you're supposed to be shooting 7 for 31. You guys can't shoot 3-point shots. If Malik Beasley isn't knocking down the 3, you can't shoot 3s. And he's not knocking down 3s. So you're supposed to be shooting 7 for 31. We shouldn't be, because Luke Kennard should be a bigger factor in that, and we're not getting him shots. I don't think you've exposed anything. I can tell you right now, if our guys were healthy, you wouldn't be in this series. So this isn't about exposing the Grizzlies. We're compromised. But even with that said, we still won 50 games. We're still battling, and I still believe in the fellas. The series is not over yet. So, and Dillon Brooks, he's an acquired taste. If he doesn't play for your team, you hate him. If he's on your team, you love him. That's just how Dillon Brooks. And for some people that are Memphis Grizzlies fans, they can't stand him either. He's not a high efficiency basketball player. That bothers some people. I understand what his role is. Okay. And he plays it well. as long as Dillon Brooks is, and my thing has always, and he did a better job of it this season, but in the postseason, I think he has reverted back to the old Dillon, and he figured out a balance between shooting too much and picking his spots. Even in the regular season, teams would leave him open and he would pick his spots. He would even, get to the free throw line and pull up. That's his shot. That little, mid-range 12-foot, pull-up jumper from 12 to 14. That's his shot. And in this series, they're saying, no, don't shoot that. Don't put it on the floor and pull up at the free throw line. No, shoot the three. Shoot it. And he's taking the bait. Because if you're not hitting, then you're hurting us. And he's hurting us right now from that, in that regard. But we're never going to tell, I'm not going to tell him to stop shooting because he's open. And I know he's capable of making that shot. And I'm hoping when we go back home, he'll knock some of those down. That's the hope. Barrett Downing, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy BD writes, Lakers are blocking a ton of shots during the, they are. Like I said, I got to give the Lakers credit. They're playing excellent defense. They're finding ways to take away the airspace with Luke Kennard. They have a game plan and they're executing. They're well coached. It's like looking in the mirror because their coach came from the same coaching tree as our coach. They have a lot of the same principles, and you can see that he kind of knows what we want to do. And so Darvin Ham is able to combat some of the things we're doing because he knows Taylor Jenkins like the back of his hand. So I think it's a great game of chess. The Lakers are winning right now, but we still got our king and we still got our queen and we still got a shot. But Lakers are looking at us like, hey, man, I just got a few more moves and then it's checkmate. Right. And they're not wrong. But if they make one wrong move, we back in this thing. So we'll see what happens. But AD is blocking a hell of a lot of shots. Plus, there's more physicality in playoff basketball, so you're allowed to tug on a guy as he's jumping. And but look, LeBron's been blocking shots. AD's been blocking shots. I mean, we just last night Vanderbilt was blocking shots. I mean, even he knocked down some threes. I'm like, come on, man, what's going on right now? Seriously, talk to me. What's going on? You hitting threes from the corner now? You don't even shoot threes, bro. So, I mean, when you got the shit going, when shit's on your side, what can you say? What more can I say? What can I say, man? They've been blocking a lot of shots, though. JP, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, y'all are losing this series and you know it. I don't know anything. I don't know anything because I thought we were going to win last night and we should have won last night and we let that one slip through our fingers. But what last night showed me, and I knew this already, but I needed confirmation from the fellas, is that we don't have a problem going to LA and winning one. That's all we got to do is win one. We know we can win at home. We got to go to LA and win one game. The thing that I question is, can we win 3 in a row? That's tough to do in a series. I don't know if we're capable of beating the Lakers 3 times in a row as we're configured right now with the injuries. Because when we were healthy, even the games we lost to LA, we were up big and we just blew leads because we were struggling closing out games during that time. But every LA game early in the season, the one with Shannon Sharpe, we were up big in those games and blew the lead. Like, we have no problems with this Lakers team. But we got to close games out. We didn't close game 1. We lost. And I think a huge part of that was Ja getting injured. We found a way to close game 2 out. Game 3, we were never in it. I expected to lose that game. I did not expect to have a 9-point quarter. And I thought we were going to win game 4, and we didn't close game 4 out. Easier said than done. It's a young team. They got to learn how to win those types of ball games. It can be a painful process, but I don't see anything being over yet. JP, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, JP writes, LeBron has never lost a series, went up 3-1 either. It's a first for everything. First time for everything. No time like the present either. Because I can tell you, This LeBron isn't dominant. He had moments in the game last night, but this LeBron isn't dominant. I don't even know if this LeBron in this series, I can't speak for what he's going to do to anybody else. But we were physical with his ass last night. We were physical with him, with Austin Reeves last night, and we were physical with AD's ass last night. And I'm glad the officials let us play last night because they didn't let us do shit in game 3. I'm glad. Let us play. I don't know how much LeBron had last night. I know he had a shit ton of rebounds. That number bothered me. Over 20 rebounds. That's ridiculous. LeBron should never have that many rebounds in a game. But that's to show you the glass like that. I don't know if he made the 30 points. I'd be shocked if he has a 30-point game in this series. I don't think he's capable. Not against us. I can't speak for what might happen later on in the playoffs should the Lakers advance. But AD's not capable of 30 against us, and I don't think LeBron is either, which means the others are going to have to beat us. I thought we did a pretty damn good job on the others last night, and we still, again, it was just little stretches. D'Angelo Russell, we had you by 7 with under 6 to go, and somehow D'Angelo Russell's stinking ass, and he's trash. He just wakes up out of nowhere. That would be the equivalent of Tyus Jones all of a sudden, who can't hit a backside, just coming in and hitting 3 straight threes. And you just go, where the hell did that shit come from? But that's the playoffs for you, man. Unlikely heroes, timely shooting, timely stops. We haven't gotten any of it in this series for the most part. So we're down 3-1. JP, my guy, John Perez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, is Stroud somewhat of a wild card in this draft, considering he's all over the place in these mocks? He absolutely is a wild card. I struggle with the CJ Stroud hate. I understand some of it. Absolutely. Don't scout the helmet, scout the player. People are human. A lot of people see CJ Stroud as a system quarterback that needs his surroundings to be perfect around him in order to succeed, a la Mac Jones. And so there's that, and they're not necessarily wrong. And then there's the lack of, not the lack of mobility, the unwillingness to run. Call that the Kirk Cousins syndrome, where you've actually got some athleticism, you just refuse to use it. That bothers people. That doesn't take away from the fact that he's talented. And yep, he threw the open receivers. There were also some situations where you watch on tape where he's threading the needle and he's throwing balls where you just like that kind of walked it up and handed him to him any better partner. I don't understand how either Will Levis or Anthony Richardson can go before CJ Stroud. That boggles my mind if that happens. He's definitely a wild card because the Falcons are saying, we'll take him if you don't want him. Y'all know the old lady on the train on Coming to America? After he has the whole blow up with Lisa and she gives him back the ring. And as he's trying to go after Lisa, and she gets off the train, the old lady says, if you're really a prince, I'll marry you. And he gives her the ring. The Falcons are looking at CJ Stroud and they're saying, if you're really falling, I'll take you. They want him to fall to 8. They won't hesitate. I don't think he gets past 8. If there's a fall for CJ Stroud, I don't think he gets past 8. Washington football fan, WGIL. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lou, please go check your blood sugar. It's over. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. I know my team. I know the fight in my team. Everybody said the same thing to me last year when we were playing Golden State. And then we were up 54 points on the Golden State Warriors in game 5 without Ja Morant. And we led wire to wire in game 6 on the road at Golden State without Ja Morant before losing at the very end. And that was the maddest I've ever been with Dylan Brooks. Was he shot us out of that game. We took some bad shots late in that game and allowed Golden State. If we would have beat them in game 6, we'd have came back and beat them in game 7. I feel the same way about this series. We were down 3-1. We came back home. It's human nature for the Lakers to say, LeBron's going to try to tell these boys, hey, let's finish this now. Let's not give them any hope, no momentum, nothing. Let's win it. It's the same shit he tried to pull in game 2, and they lost. He's going to tell these boys, let's go handle business. We don't need to come back to LA with them. They don't need to come back to LA with us. It's going to fall on deaf ears because we're going to win game 5. And then all of a sudden, the pressure's no longer on us if we win game 5. Because now it's like, look, we were down 3-1. We're supposed to lose the series. Now the Lakers are saying, we got to win game 6. Now you come out tight. And all of a sudden, you look up at halftime, you down 8. And now you're fighting for your life. That's all we got to do is win game 5 and put pressure back on the Lakers. I want to see, because I want to see how they handle that. Because you didn't handle it well last night with 15 seconds to go, turning the ball over and leading to a transition layup that gave us the lead with 6 points. I want to see what y'all do in those situations when you say LeBron can't be the one. I want to see what y'all do. Yeah, Dennis Schroeder can hit a shot in a play-in game. Do that shit in the playoffs. Don't let LeBron be the one. Make one of these bums hit a shot. I want to see. Starface. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Starface. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, Jalen Hurts is jacked. Doesn't matter if the QB is big. Jalen Hurts is jacked, but it's more of his lower half that's jacked. Like Jalen Hurts' his arms, he's a big dude. Don't get me wrong, but it's his lower half that's jacked. He squats a small house. And I'm pretty sure he's pumping some iron up top, but there's not this definition in his arms that like, oh my God, like it is with Will Levis, like it was with Brady Quinn. Like, you don't see Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the most fit quarterback you've ever seen. Tom Brady, you don't see his bicep bulging out of his shirt. How many passers in the league that have been prolific have you seen doing that? That ain't Josh Allen. That ain't Patrick Mahomes. I think there's something to flexibility as a quarterback. I could be wrong. That's just one of my things. That's one of my preferences. I don't want my quarterback to be a musclehead. Don't be a meathead as a quarterback. It's a difference between quarterback jack, because I see somebody like Andrew Luck was jack coming out of stand. Andrew Luck was a big dude, but he wasn't jack. It's a difference between quarterback jack and jacked. This dude is yoked. Okay. Will Levis is yoked. I mean, Pat McAfee did a whole segment on his show about this dude being yoked. Like, that's not quarterback yoked. He's yoked like he's a linebacker. There's a difference. Starface, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, all this shit talk on Levis, he's going to be a Hall of Famer now. I said the same thing to myself. I said, all this shit I'm talking 3-4 years from now, somebody's going to run this video back and say, hey, Louie T, remember when you said all that shit about Will Levis? Look at him now. I'm staying 10 toes down in mine, man. Even if I step in a big steaming pile of shit, I'm standing 10 toes down in it. Might have to go wash my feet thoroughly, but I'm standing 10 toes down in it, man. I believe in what I believe in. So I hope this doesn't come back to haunt me 5-6 years down the line, but I just don't see it with Will Levis. I just don't. So I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong plenty more times. I don't think I'm wrong about him, though, but we'll see. Nick Riley, my guy, Nick at Night. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, how about them Lakers, Lou? Tell Ja to get those last pair of shoes ready. Look, man, I got to give credit to the Lakers. You guys have played a phenomenal series. It's what I expected. I thought, and everything has gone the way that I thought it was going to go, except the ending to game 4. I thought we were going to, I did not think we were going to lose game 1, but I wasn't shocked that we lost game 1. I knew we were going to win game 2. We did win game 2. I knew we were going to lose game 3. I didn't expect us to play as poorly as we did to start game 3. But I expected to bounce back and win game 4. I thought we were coming back to Memphis with a split. I mean, it was 2-2. And we had the game literally in our hands and we let it slip. So I'm disappointed about that. But credit to the Lakers, man. Again, timely shooting, timely stops. They've made just enough plays to be up 3-1. This series easily could be 3-1 the other way. You know, without Ja being injured, I think at bare minimum it's 2-2. Easily could be, 3-1 with a less compromised Ja Morant. But that's nor here nor there. You guys have made plays, man. And hats off to you. You know, you have the edge and playoff experience, and it's showing. LeBron by himself has played more playoff games than my entire team, my entire roster combined, and it's showing. Anthony Davis has played in a number of playoff games, and it's showing. D'Angelo Russell, even though he stinks, has played in a number of playoff games, and it's showing. Dennis Schroeder has played in a number of playoff games, and it's showing. Guys are making plays, winning plays in winning time, and I got to give credit where credit is due. So, Lakers have played well, but I still think we got a shot to win the series. The Phillies Ace 34. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, my guy, Louie T, don't disrespect my Eagles. You can leave Washington and come join my Eagles. How good will Robinson make my Eagles? I'm not disrespecting your Eagles. As a matter of fact, I had a Washington fan tell me the other day because of the video that I put out, hey, don't be giving the Eagles and the Cowboys this much credit, man. What the hell's wrong with you? Look, man, at the end of the day, I feel like the Eagles have made great moves pretty much each of the last 2 off seasons. Maybe 3 if you count trading Carson Wentz and getting a 1 out of it. Phenomenal job. Pretty much everything they've done since then has been, shrewd move after shrewd move. And it's put them in the position that they're in right now. This is a big season, though, because coaching staff has changed a little bit. Obviously, when you're this good and you go to the Super Bowl, teams want to poach your roster. That's happened as well. Lost some players. They've positioned themselves to be able to have guys step in that have been waiting in the wings, and they're going to draft some more guys. But I want to see if there's continuity there. I'm assuming you're talking about Brian Robinson Jr. I'm not sure who you're referring to. Almost feels a bit luckish, but I know it's you. I don't know what Robinson you're referring to. I'm gonna just leave that one alone because that feels like a trap. And it's been a while, but I gotta get back in my rare luck form. So I'm gonna leave that one alone. John Perez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy JP writes, Chase ain't going nowhere, Lou. I don't know how many times I have to keep saying it. I hope you're right, JP. I can tell you this: every time Ron Rivera is short and succinct when it comes to a player, that player has fallen out of favor with him, and he's not even thinking about that player. He's looking past that player. It's the same thing he did with William Jackson III. He's done it multiple times. He did the same thing with Morgan Moses. He did the same thing with Landon Collins. Every time he's short about a player, that guy ends up not being on the roster 2 weeks later. And last week, when asked about Chase Young and the 5th-year option, he could have easily said one of 2 things. He could have said, we've made a decision and you guys will find out on the 2nd. Or he could have said, yeah, we're going to pick up the 5th year. They know what they're going to do, right? They know what they're going to do. There's no advantage. There's no advantage to saying it or not saying it. There's no advantage. So why not just say, hey, we're picking up the 5th-year option on Chase Young, or we're not picking up the 5th-year option on Chase Young. There's no advantage to it either way. I think the reason they haven't said anything is because they plan on trading him. So it's not their problem. So they don't have to talk about it. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope you're right, JP. JP, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, JP writes, it's a miracle my Red Sox are 500. Sale got destroyed again yesterday, and we have no damn pitching. The hitting has also been terrible at times. Your roster has been poached over the last couple of years, and a lot of good young talent has gone elsewhere. And eventually that's going to bite you in the ass. And, when you do some of the things that you've done, make some of the moves that you've made, they have to pan out. And if they don't, you're going to feel it. And I think y'all are feeling some of those moves now. You can't pay everybody, but you got to pay some of these dudes. And you've paid some of them, but I don't know if you've paid the right ones. And to me, in baseball, there's no better way to build than through your farm system. You're complaining about Chris Sale last night, and I'm telling you, Spencer Strider almost had a perfect game and almost had a no-hitter. He had a perfect game through 6, and he had a no-hitter through 7. So, I have no issues in that department. And we got one of our pitchers going down for the season to TJ. And I'm still telling you, we got stuff. Because our farm system is lit. That's the way to go about it. Y'all like to go the free agency route. It ain't nothing like bringing up some homegrown product. Especially in baseball, where you ain't paying these dudes nothing for the first 4 or 5 years of their pro careers. You got to take advantage of that. JP, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, JP writes, I'm not the biggest Will Levis fan either, but I don't think he's trash. It's creepy that he puts freaking mayonnaise in his coffee, though. I don't think he's trash. I just don't think he's worthy of the #1 overall pick. If he went to the Raiders at 7 and he sat behind Jimmy Garoppolo for 6 games until Garoppolo breaks his finger, then yeah, I'd be cool with that. If he went 4th overall to the Colts, I'd be cool with that, because that's the perfect place for him, because Indy sucks at quarterback, and he'd go there, and I don't think he'd make them any better. It's a perfect place for him. But I think if you put him on a talented football team, Will Levis can do some work. You put him with the right coaching staff, Will Levis can do some work. But he's not elevating the level of players around him. He didn't do it at Kentucky either. So, I watched him throw a lot of bubbles and a lot of short passes. I'm not impressed with this dude. I'm not impressed with him at all. Let's see. Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I got to say, a lot of the Levis hate I've seen coming from Richardson fans, as they're not almost the same exact player. Like, my super raw freaky prospect is better than yours. Closed quote. Isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Like, seriously. That's funny when somebody's like, yo, Will Levis stinks, but I'm telling you, Anthony Richardson is going to be a beast. And I'm like, it's like the Spider-Man meme. You're like, bro, what are you talking? Y'all the same dude. It's just like 1 inch shorter and like 10 to 12 pounds lighter, but y'all the same guy. What are you talking about? I actually think Anthony Richardson processes better than Will Levis, which is crazy. I think he does process better than Will Levis. I just think he's more inaccurate than Will Levis. That's the only difference. But I actually think Anthony Richardson throws a better deep ball than Will Levis does. That's where I think when you're too strong for your own good, that's where you see it, the lack of touch throwing the football. I don't think Will Levis has a good feel for touch. Cam Newton was another strong, physically built quarterback. He struggled with touch. Dwayne Haskins was not a muscle-bound quarterback, but you have to have touch in the NFL as a quarterback. You have to. And I think Will Levis struggles with touch. So, anyway, I digress. The Phillies Ace 34. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? Bijan Robinson, the running back. Oh, okay. My mind was thinking about Brian Robinson, our running back. I was like, what are you talking about here? I forgot all about Bijan Robinson. Now, if you're getting Derrick Henry, then you don't need Bijan Robinson, which that's why I kind of like this trade doesn't make any sense. You can just draft Bijan Robinson. Why draft a running back that's on the verge of turning 30 here in a couple of years when you can get a running back that's in the prime of his career, young puppy, and not paying him a bunch of money? That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, if you got Bijan Robinson, it would take your offense to the next level, because even though Miles Sanders was really good, there was still meat left on the bone. Like, I would love it if you guys just kind of neglected the running back position. You signed like 15 dudes. You re-signed Boston Scott. You still have the kid from Memphis who I like, Kenneth Gainwell. You brought in a couple of guys like Rashad Penny, and I think you brought in another back too, maybe. And I'm like, that shit's cool. All of that's nice. I mean, I'm not afraid of none of that shit, but behind that line, Rashad Penny could be dangerous. But I'm like, you get Bijan Robinson behind that line? Look, I've been adamant. Bijan Robinson is not a generational talent, but he's damn close. Like, he's really good. Like, don't get me wrong. He's a damn good back. I think a lot of people, because I've been adamant that he's not a generational talent, they think I think Bijan Robinson's average. No, Bijan Robinson is dynamic. He has a chance to be the best back in the league in 2 years. You put him behind that offensive line with Jalen Hurts as a run threat, and Bijan Robinson can single-handedly take your offense and put you right back in the Super Bowl. I hope you don't draft him, but I think you will. Take Command for Life. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, "Hey, Lou, Braves off to a hot start. I'm excited. As am I. I was a little disappointed with the little 4-game slide we were on after we had run off 8 in a row. We let the Astros come in and sweep us. That's the second time we've been swept at home this season. That bothers me, because we got swept by the Padres, the Fathers, earlier this season at home. But I still want to see this team against better competition, because we've gotten fat off of some bad teams. And when you're beating up on the Royals and the Reds, and we even got to the Padres before they got Tatis back, so that was good. We're done with them now, so I'm not worried about it. But I want to see what happens when we play better teams with better pitching, better hitting, because the Astros are fully capable, and you saw what they did. They came in and they took 3 from us. I don't like that, but we're playing good ball. But the crazy part is, so is the rest of the division. This is a big series against the Marlins, because the Marlins got off to a good start this season. The Mets, all these injuries that they've got, they're still right there. So we got to continue to play good baseball. But I like what we're doing thus far. All right. So that is the last comment there. I'm going to now transition to the final segment of the show, and garbage time. So this draft is so crazy, right? And so much has gone on that there are little like ancillary stories and little pockets of things that are transpiring that are easy to be swept under the rug. And so I wanted to do a pod when this first hit, but Friday happened. Friday's Friday. Y'all know how it is, man. Just got paid Friday night. Y'all know how that go, man. Anyway, shout out to my man Kemp. May he rest in peace. Rest in peace to Harry Belafonte, man. We lost a good one today. Harry Belafonte, 96 years old, man. He lived a good life. Dorothy Dandridge, she was bad. Back in the day, she was bad. He had him a good baddie, boy. Anyway, man, Harry Belafonte was a champion for civil rights and all of that good stuff. So we lost a good one today, man. May Harry Belafonte, Dale, may he rest in peace, man. We had some brothers go down, do the gambling on the NFL and college football. I got to talk about it. So this is going to be a problem for the NFL, I think. Now, they're making examples out of these players. They did it with Calvin Ridley. I thought that would have been enough to scare anybody away after they did it to Calvin Ridley, but clearly, it's so easy to gamble now. Dudes that have never had access to gambling can pull out their phone out of their pocket and pull up a MGM or pull up a DraftKings, and you can place a bet just like that. It's never been easier to make a bet in these guys' lives. And so I think the NFL, they're trying to curtail this before it gets out of control. And a lot of people want to know, well, how do they even know these guys are betting? So let's go back and discuss this quickly. So 5 players for the Detroit Lions, four, excuse me, for the Lions, and 1 from the Washington Commanders were caught betting. Okay. The 3 players that were suspended indefinitely were all betting on NFL games. The 2 that received 6 games were betting on college games. Okay. And they did it from the team facility. Okay. They were on an NFL campus, and that is illegal, apparently. Okay. So had they just driven off of the campus and made the same bet, they would have been fine, I'm assuming. I mean, that's dumb, but I know why they're doing it. They don't want players encouraging other players to bet, which is why they say, hey, you do whatever the hell you want to do at your house. You still can't bet on the NFL, period. Right? But you can do whatever you want to do. You want to bet on a baseball game, you want to bet on a college football game, knock yourself out. Just don't do it on the campus because you're around other players, and we don't want you encouraging that behavior to other players. So I understand in theory why it's set up that way, but it's so easy to bet now. 6 games for betting on a non-NFL event, even if it's done at the facility, that's a little harsh, if you ask me. Unless you talked to this dude before, like, didn't I tell your ass if I saw you again for this shit, I was going to drop 6 on your head? Then I get it. But if this is a first-time offense, and it's got to be in the CBA, so it is what it is. But for a first-time offense, it should be no more than 2 games, man. If I bet on, the what do they call that? It's not the red. It's not the red. It's the Red River rivalry now. It's not the shootout anymore. Texas and Oklahoma. If I went to Oklahoma and I wanted to put down a little bet on Oklahoma over Texas, and I did it, after practice one day, and I sat in my locker and I just did it real quick, I shouldn't be suspended 6 games for that. But whatever. How do they know that these guys are betting? My guess is because the NFL has their hand in all of this stuff. They've partnered up with a lot of these apps, and so I'm pretty sure what the NFL, and I think all these sports have done, but specifically NFL because they're such a juggernaut, is they provided a database to all of these sporting apps, and they said, hey, this is a list of names of players who are active in the NFL currently. If any of these players so much as sniffs around a bet on your app, I need you to red flag them, and I need you to run that past my desk. Okay? That should hit the league office at some point. If they place a bet, if they're even thinking about betting activity, you see any of these names, it should flag in your database. Don't stop them. Okay. But we need to know about it. I think that's how the NFL has it set up. So you're not going to do something and them not know about it. It's always about the shield. So it's amazing, though, that these players just aren't smart. And I think the 2 6 gamers, Jameson Williams, that's a big one for the Lions. Because they're expecting, and he could still have a massive year, miss the first 6 games, come back and be outstanding for them. But they were expecting big things from him this year. That's a blow, right? Quintez Cephas and CJ Moore, they were released because they are suspended indefinitely. Washington hasn't done anything with Shaka Toney yet. And some of you guys made a great point, because when I said they're probably going to release him, A lot of you, like, you just go to one of these other leagues. That's the beauty of having the XFL and, the USFL. That's the beauty of them having these other leagues, is your football career in the States doesn't have to be over. Doesn't have to be over if something doesn't work out for you in the NFL. And I like that, even though I'm not supporting it. I haven't watched any of it. Doesn't mean I won't watch, but I haven't. It's good that these guys have another outlet. Their career doesn't have to be over. They don't have to go to Canada to play football if they want to continue their football career. So it's unfortunate that these young boys haven't learned. Like, I don't know how much you putting down on a Penn State, Ohio State. I don't know how much you putting down on that. I don't know how lucrative that is for you if you're Shaka Toney. I don't know what you're betting on as a player in the NFL. Like, what are you doing? You're making a good living, and you're jeopardizing that for what exactly? I don't understand. Help me. It's one thing. Like I said, I more so have sympathy for the guys that bet on college games, because I'm like, I mean, come on, man. Okay, don't do it on the team's facility. Okay, cool. I get it. Maybe they didn't know, because that's not something. And these guys go through rookie symposiums, and the new CBA came out 2 years ago, 2021, I believe, is when they signed. Maybe that they weren't aware that you couldn't place a bet on this facility. As long as it wasn't NFL, they probably thought they were straight, because Calvin really was betting on NFL games. And so were the 3 that got suspended indefinitely this time around. So that part I don't get. Like, what are you doing? I just that doesn't make sense to me. Because whatever you're making in the USFL or whatever you're making in the XFL, it's pennies compared to what you're making in the NFL. Even if you're making the veteran minimum, you're still making more money than most Americans are making, with PhDs, with all kinds of, levels of experience and degrees and things of that. You're still making more money than a lot of these people. In 6 months, you're making that money. So why throw that away? That doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on the 330th installment of the Louie T Network podcast. That was a lot of fun. This week's going to be a lot of fun. I can feel it. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? It is here. I can feel it, man. It's gonna be a real good week. Anyway, I'll be back later on tonight if you're a Washington fan. Washington Commanders draft overload. Me, Rico, tonight, 9 p. here, Louie T Network. Wednesday, I'm back like cook crack, 9:30 p. Washington or the Command Post Live. One final lap around the draft for the Commanders before we get things kicked off on Thursday night for the draft party. Y'all know what it is, and I'll be talking about the draft party every chance that I get. Y'all know how we do it. Any food, any drinks, any snacks are welcomed except milk. Y'all know how we do it. Cherry sparkling water, wild cherry sparkling water is admitted. It's admitted, though. Bring whatever your vice is, man. You want to drink some water? Knock yourself out. We can not take a toast. We can take a shot of water. I'm down for the cause. My cup won't be clear, but I'm right there with you. So anyway, I digress. You guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully I'll see a lot of you tonight. Show's going to be lit tonight. Hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow night. Show's going to be lit tomorrow night. And then I hope I see you again Thursday night. Then I hope I see you again on Friday night. Y'all know what it is, man. Y'all have a good one. This will be the only podcast for the week because I got to save my voice because I'm going to be using it a ton. So I can't do any more podcasts this week. So unless something crazy happens and I have to do a podcast, I don't think anything else is crazy. Anything else crazy is going to happen. Anyway, y'all get out of here. Have a good one. Take care. And I'll see you guys later on tonight.
LouieTeeNetwork.